Hi, everybody. Welcome to AI That Actually Works. As you're filtering in, if you want to drop your name, where you're from, your LinkedIn in the chat, we'll get going here pretty quickly, but would love to hear from you as you're coming in and get a sense of who's joined us. To make sure we have as much time to hear from Ben and answer all your questions, I'm just going to start right away with our intro. Welcome to AI That Actually Works, technology investment for solos. If you're anything like most solopreneurs, you're probably drowning in AI tools that are promising to revolutionize your business and trying to then learn how to do them all. Because every week there seems like there's a new platform, a new feature, a new must-have subscription. But here's one thing. Not all tech investments are created equal. And when you're running a solo business, every dollar and every minute matters, as we all very well know. At Lettuce, we totally get that. It's why we've built our platform that actually does what it promises. We're automating your tax strategy and your bookkeeping so you can get some of that time back and focus on the work that only you can do. There's no fluff, no empty promises. It's just a real tool that can save you real time and real money. And I, in addition to working with Lettuce, I'm also a Lettuce customer, so I can tell you that that's true. We have a special offer now that can give you back some of that time in both being able to sign up now and then not pay anything till 2026. We're also going to be offering some white glove services on your taxes. So check out lettuce.co for more info. Let's move quickly to today's session because it's all about cutting through that AI hype in the bigger way and find tools that can move the needle for your solo business. Our speaker, my new friend, is Ben Angel, who's the best-selling author of The Wolf at the Door, How to Survive and Thrive in a New AI-Driven World. Ben has spent more than 3,000 hours researching disruptive forces reshaping business and work, and his entrepreneur.com video channel has more than 10 million views. So you're lucky to get some specialized one-on-one time with him today. He's trained more than 25,000 students through his online courses, and he's here to help you evaluate, implement, and maximize ROI on the technology investments that will scale your capabilities. If you're ready to build your 2026 systems roadmap with confidence, we're about to get into it. Before we begin, just some quick housekeeping. This session is going to run about 45 minutes, so you can have a quick break between this one and our next session. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A as they come to mind. If you see a question that someone else wrote that you're interested in, give it a +1 or a like, and then we can get to the most popular questions when we shift to Q&A, which will be about the last 5 to 10 minutes of this session. Also in the right-hand panel, you'll find an offer from Ben, or you can visit our resource room and see a full list of handouts, offers, and books like Ben's from all of our speakers today. Without further ado, please welcome Ben Angel.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm excited to be here today, and it's great to see everyone popping up in the comments from all parts of the US. So we've got Georgia, Indiana, Chicago, I see Vancouver there as well. Now, in today's presentation, we're going to look at how to actually make AI work for you. What we see is a lot of TikTok videos, Instagram reels that are pushing the next big AI tool. The challenge that many are facing is that they're feeling left behind with what is happening in the marketplace at the moment. What this presentation will do for you today is to help you prepare not just for the next 3 to 5 minutes, but the next 3 to 5 years. And we begin by kicking off with something that most people won't actually tell you, which is most people's greatest fear isn't that you'll be replaced by AI, is that you'll become irrelevant. In the process of researching my latest book, we see a lot of individuals using the phrase that AI won't replace you, but someone using it will. That's not completely true, and you're going to see why throughout this presentation. And the reason that I share this with you today is to help you adapt to the changing consumer demands that are starting to unfold very quickly. Because as we see, the signs are everywhere right now. Amazon laid off in the past week 14,000 plus white-collar jobs due to AI automation. Automation-prone gigs fell up to 30.4% in 8 months. And Fiverr Limited reported an 18,000% surge in demand for freelance AI specialists. But how do you apply this in your own solo business to grow and scale? We're going to take 3 key steps. The first step is to replace, so we're going to focus on projects, not prompts. Second, optimize. Test what moves money in your business and grows those scales. And I've got a 1% formula that is incredibly simple and easy to apply with the help of artificial intelligence that alleviates some of the pressure that you may be feeling in not being able to stay up to date with all the changes. And let me be clear and upfront with you, as an author who's written a book on artificial intelligence, trying to write on a topic that is constantly changing is like trying to put a stake in sand for the tide to come in and to wipe that stake away. It is near impossible. Take the pressure off of yourself to know every single thing that's going on and refocus your energy and effort into this very simple 3-step formula that will allow you to increase your profits, generate more leads, and optimize every aspect of your business, not just for today, but for the future. And that will be the 3rd step in this game plan that I have for you. Now, as Lisa said, she shared a little bit about my background. Over the years, I've written, I believe, 8 books. I'm starting to lose count at this point. But throughout my 2-decade career, I've covered a variety of topics, and they're based on 3 simple things. It's helping entrepreneurs become peak performers by either applying biohacking, psychology, and technology to their lives. Way back in 2009, I predicted the trend of personal branding without even realizing it, a couple of years before that blew up. In 2013, I wrote a book called Flee 9 to 5, which covered the education economy and how that was going to explode. In fact, at the time, I was criticized on national TV back in Australia, where I'm from, for saying that this was going to be a big trend going forward, and we can see what happened with that. In 2018, I believe in part I contributed to the biohacking trend through my book Unstoppable, which introduced biohacking to a larger audience to look at key factors that were hurting their performance in their lives and businesses. We surveyed over 70,000 people to uncover factors such as psychology and biology that impacted their behavior on a daily basis. Then, a couple of years ago, as we saw with the explosion of ChatGPT, I released a video that made 7 predictions, all of which have come true to date. That video was called The Dark Side of ChatGPT. It blew up and had millions of views within 24 hours. And funnily enough, at the time, I was actually contracted to write a book on a superhuman focus, sent my publisher an email and said, we need to change it ASAP. So the expertise that I bring to this training are multiple. We're not just speaking about, what can you do immediately to grow your income and how it impacts you as a solopreneur. We're talking about the larger implications of what the future actually holds and how you prepare for that as a whole. And we can really put people into 2 different categories. We have the rookie and we have the future maker. And if you recognize yourself as a rookie, that's absolutely okay. That's 99% of the population right now. A rookie doesn't understand or realize just quite yet that clients can clone your services using AI in minutes. I teach members of my online programs how to clone themselves. It would be ignorant to believe that our clients may not clone us at some point in time. So we'll be covering how to protect yourself from that. A rookie uses AI in a manner that dilutes their competitive edge. They're using tools to develop content. They don't necessarily have an overarching strategy that underpins that. They hoard tools. In my position, I'm known to do that, but I also come back to the basics and simplify my business processes so I can prove the ROI of the AI tools that I use. A rookie also guesses what the trends will be and copies competitors using artificial intelligence. But the future maker, on the other hand, they spot the early signs of disruption. They reinvent their services in a new way to meet the changing demands of their clientele. They plan for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, when you think about planning for the next 3 to 5 years, sometimes it is hard to see what the future holds. I'm going to give you some key steps on how to do that. They also personalize prompts to their audience, but most importantly, they leverage their data. If you think about companies like Meta, holders of Instagram and Facebook, or then YouTube, OpenAI, all of these large tech companies, they rely on data to make their money, which is $1 billion industry. Yet I'm seeing a lack of education in the AI space aimed at solopreneurs and entrepreneurs to leverage the existing data they have in their business to continually and make small incremental changes in their business to grow. They also build workflows tied to specific profit levers, and they understand, most importantly, tools level the field, but skills will ultimately win the game. And there are 3 key drivers to the changes that we're experiencing at this point in time, and that is economic uncertainty. I'm not sure if anyone's seen the latest jobs report out of the US that was released today, showing a loss of, I believe, over 150,000 jobs in 1 month, which is the largest in over 20 years. The world is changing rapidly, and we need to understand what drives this change. So not only does economic uncertainty drive us to adapt AI in our own businesses, it also drives our clients to adapt AI to cut costs. Those who do not offer value above and beyond what AI can deliver risk losing clients and relevance. Do I say that to scare you? Yes, it should scare you. But I also hope it lights a fire within you to understand there's a different way of doing things. The second driver is, of course, opportunity. Artificial intelligence lets solopreneurs do more with less. The third driver is competitive pressure. It sets new client expectations overnight, which leads us to ask a really tough question. And it's a tough question that sets you up for the future. How do you compete with AI when it's faster and cheaper than you? I get it. It feels like a bit of a gut punch. This was the question that I was asking myself when I was writing my new book, my brand new book. Now, to understand where we go and how we adapt to these changes, we need to not just combine AI strengths, but we need to add human strengths into the mix. AI brings speed, scale, automation, decision-making. The human strengths, and the World Economic Forum outlined all of the top skills needed for the future. The number one skill needed is critical thinking. Why do you think that might be? AI is simply a tool at the end of the day. It's how you apply this tool in your daily lives and your business that is going to make the difference. It's also how you apply this tool that is unique to your competitors that will make you stand out. The other skill is creativity. Creativity is what underpins artificial intelligence. If you look at artificial intelligence, these models have been trained on humans' creativity. But what else can you actually bring to it? Adaptability, we're seeing that in the times of economic uncertainty where we must adapt quickly as well as adapting to new technology. Resilience, to see these changes through, and of course AI literacy. But the interesting thing about the top 10 skills the World Economic Forum outlined was that AI literacy didn't make the top 5. I wonder why. It's because when you understand critical thinking, you're applying creativity and adaptability to these changing times, AI literacy becomes secondary in nature, because as long as we're able to communicate with these AI models what we need in a creative manner, we can fine-tune it to get the outcomes that we want. The bottom line is AI brings power, but you, humans, bring possibility. Future makers blend both. And in these changing times, what we're seeing after a few years is that 95% of companies that have invested in AI tools were seeing zero return. 95% of companies that invested in AI tools were seeing zero return. Only 5% were getting a return on their investment. Put simply, I believe people are far too distracted by image generation tools, video generation tools, to actually see the data, the value in the data that they have within their existing business to generate a return on their investment. And it doesn't matter if you just started, you're brand new, we all start at zero, just like I did over 20 years ago now. But the data that you have may not be the data that you think you need. It could be as simple as communication with customers, recording phone calls with permission to do internal training to see what objections are, and having AI process that data to understand where the gaps are in your business model. Which brings us to the solo ROI ladder, a 3-step formula: replace, optimize, and reinvent. The first step, we want to swap low-value tasks for AI execution to reclaim hours immediately. This is your foundation for those quick wins that fund creativity and also empower you to take the next 2 steps, such as optimize. Use your proprietary data to train workflows that get better over time to get those compounding returns. Followed by the third, reinvent. Turn those proven workflows into scalable assets, because equity and relevance becomes king once you take these 3 simple steps. To kick off with the first and easiest step that you can take, and as Lisa said earlier in the presentation, make sure you download the resources and download this presentation. There's a lot of information that I'm going to share, but this is essentially your plan for 2026, or you can kick it off immediately if you like. Where people are failing to generate an ROI on their AI investment of time and money is that they're not connecting their data to the platforms. And of course, there are security concerns, but if you go into security, for example, in this example, we're using ChatGPT. On the left, you'll see security. You can toggle on and off what you actually want to share with the model. Your first step is to do that, and then connect your different platforms like Gmail and Outlook, Google Docs, Google Calendar, Drive, or Notion. This is the basis of what you need to do so the AI model can make better decisions on your behalf and you have access to all the data that you need. The second step, and this is a critical one as you'll find out in the third stage, is that you want to produce documents based on your business. We're talking about the last 20 support emails, your refund policy, customer objections, one of the most valuable things that you can have, key buying triggers. Create simple documents that you can then put into a project within ChatGPT. To do this is simple. On the left-hand tab in ChatGPT, you'll see a tab that says Projects. Click on it, name your project. From there, you can add personalized instructions. You want this individual chat to behave in a specific way, to perform triage within your business, to analyze those customer queries, your refund policy, those objections, those buying triggers, to identify key trends and patterns within your business that you can then capitalize on in later steps. And the great thing about this is the basis for setting up the next step, which is to turn your triage into a support agent. This is incredibly simple. Once you have that documentation in place, you can then take that documentation and upload it to Geek AI, where you can create different widgets. For example, someone who will be the storefront greeter or the closing assistant, whether it be on an order form or whether it be on an inquiry form, depending on whether you offer a product or service in your business. So here we're building up your foundation. We're not getting distracted by different tools. We're bringing it back to basics to simplify your business, but to also maximize the data that you currently have. Which leads us to one of the next basic steps that you can take, which is to set up your email assistant. With Gemini, you can use Google's AI Gemini for Gmail, or you can sync it to ChatGPT. For Microsoft Copilot, you can also sync it with ChatGPT or Outlook. And the other option you also have is Superhuman AI. But here's the most important step. Now, so far, we've discussed making sure that you have all of those communications to get AI to analyze it for you. So you're going to leverage that data in later steps in this process. The next most important step is to document your processes. If AI is here to save us time, we better make sure that we're using it in a way that actually saves us time and doesn't overwhelm us. At the moment, we're entering a period of time where we're experiencing information overload, and artificial intelligence is only going to continue to add to that. We need to narrow our focus down to where it actually matters. If you look at your business and what you're doing on a daily basis, it could be that you're posting to social media, you're researching trends for videos, turning those into short videos, creating proposals, starting a new client on track. You have your weekly money check or a monthly scorecard. You're constantly doing research, but are you documenting these processes so you can automate them? There is a great platform that is known as Scribe to help you document these standard operating procedures within your business. Here, our goal is to free up at least 2 days of work per week. So all you have to do is look at the results of the AI agent has brought you and then actually make a decision instead of drowning in research and drowning in information. Once you've created these standard operating procedures, you're going to leverage it potentially in 2 different ways. You can actually take it and hand it off to a VA, or you can actually give it to an AI agent to run the step-by-step process itself. So how do you create these SOPs incredibly quickly? The platform Scribe, you simply hit record. You go through all of the different steps. Say, for example, you're uploading a video to YouTube, hit record, step by step, go through, upload the video, add the description, select your different options. Scribe is going to document it all for you. It's going to give you screenshots, GIFs, useful data that you can quickly hand off to a VA or an AI agent within a few minutes. And for someone who's been in business for 20 years now, there is nothing more time consuming than training new individuals to make sure they follow your process exactly. Because this is documented in such an easy way, it doesn't just free up time, it helps the other individual perform what they need to do in the manner you want it performed. But there has been a pretty exciting development in the last week in which you can then take those SOPs and run it through an AI agent. Now, if you're not familiar, an AI agent is different to a chatbot. An AI agent operates autonomously until it's reached your defined outcome. Say, for example, you're researching new content ideas. You can prompt an AI agent to go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, look at all of the recent trending videos to identify what are the top trends within your specific industry, what are they covering those videos, what kind of engagement are they getting, what are the follow-up questions in the comments, useful information for when you write your video script. It will take the time to do that research. And if you haven't used one before, there's a brand new one that's just been released by OpenAI, which is very much like a Google Chrome browser for the internet. It's called Atlas. So if you search Atlas, browser. You'll be able to find it, download it to your computer, set your security settings how you want them, and then in the tab menu in the search bar, select agent mode. But the great thing about agent mode is it's not confined to just writing a bit of text in there and giving it a simple prompt. You can upload the PDFs of your SOPs to run those tasks for you. I will give you a heads up. Agents take a little longer to produce the results because they're actually going to the internet. They're opening these different browsers. If they need to log in, they will ask your permission to log in, or you can prompt them to say, let me know when you need to log into Instagram or TikTok to access the information that you need. Certain tasks, especially researching trending content ideas, can take anywhere from 15 minutes to over an hour based on the kind of insights that you actually require. This is a phenomenal tool to do research on your competitors to see if they're actually adding AI to their portfolio of products in a way that you may not have done yet. This is your ability to start understanding the trends to see what's coming up next. And when you're able to do this, I see a future where most of us, we're not just going to have one computer sitting in front of us. We're going to have multiple with different AI agents running on each one, producing the work that we need to produce. The future is starting to look very, very differently. That's the replace step. Now, I know I've covered a lot very quickly, which is why all of the information you need is in the slides. Our number one goal is to swap those low-value tasks for AI execution to reclaim hours immediately to make yourself more productive. If you're a solo business owner, it is easy to get distracted and lose focus. Bring yourself back to the basics, because this is your foundation for the next step, which is to optimize. Is to use the data within your business to build better workflows that get better over time to generate those compounding returns. And this is where I want to introduce you to the 1% effect. Big wins from tiny tweaks. One mosquito can ruin a night. 1% can make your quarter. Have you ever been stuck late at night in a room with just one mosquito? It ruins everything. But 1% in business can literally change everything. I've been using this method for close to 20 years. And the reason that we use the 1% effect is that by focusing on 1% improvements on a weekly basis on key levers within your business that drive profit, it alleviates pressure from you as a business owner instead of trying to go from 1% to, say, a 20% conversion rate. But often what you find is instead of just getting the 1% improvement, you tend to go above and beyond. Let me give you an example. Say, for example, you have an order form, and on that order form, you have a product, and your average order value is $200. Your traffic cost to generate that sale costs approximately $150, potentially through Facebook ads. At a 1% conversion rate on that order form, your revenue is $200, but your profit is $50. If you double that conversion rate, just improved it by 1%, your revenue will double to $400 and your profit will jump to $250. The result is 5 times more profit without higher ad spend, with very little time and investment of making this improvement. Now with artificial intelligence, you can do what the top marketers have done all along when it comes to optimizing traffic, order forms, websites to increase their sales. And the way that we do this is we want to aim artificial intelligence at very specific profit levers. So you can pick one. Could be leads, increasing your average order value, or repeat purchases such as subscriptions, optimizing price, or your customer acquisition costs. You're going to leverage the data that you have, your existing emails, orders, or comments. If you're starting from scratch and you're getting rejected, that's a good sign, because failure is feedback. That is data that you can leverage. If you're making sales calls and they're not closing, take your notes and get artificial intelligence to provide feedback to make that 1% improvement. Once a week, do one simple tweak. It could be an A-B subject line split test. To give you an example, I believe it was almost 10 years ago now, when I was helping entrepreneurs with their digital marketing and Facebook advertising, I released email marketing templates. Now, these email marketing templates, I think the first month they probably generated about $5,000. Then I turned on Facebook ads. They were still generating about $5,000 a month from Facebook ads, but not hugely profitable. Every single week, I would change one simple thing on the landing page for that product. One week, I would change the headline and say, did I get a little bump in conversion rates from making that one tweak? Then the next week, I would change the header background image. And the day that I changed that background image, my sales jumped from $5,000 a month to over $70,000 a month from email marketing templates. That one simple change is life-changing to anyone. So do not doubt that little changes and tweaks in your business can create life-changing opportunities, not just for you, but you and your family as well. Leverage your data, emails, orders, comments. Do those one little tweaks and then ship one change each week. Just one. That's simple as one little change per week. And see what starts to unfold in your business. And then we start to see a cycle occur. You let AI know that you made this tweak, and this was the result. What do we change next? What worked? What failed? What can we do better? As solo business owners, we haven't had this kind of access unless we've paid thousands of dollars to marketing consultants before. And this is now either free, depending on the platform you use, or at the moment, I would recommend either Google AI Studio, where you can pick a free model to actually upload these analytics into to actually identify the trends, or currently use ChatGPT. What I will say to you though, is every single time you create a new chat, you're effectively retraining that model from scratch, which is why at the moment I prefer ChatGPT to set up a project, to train that project on specific instructions to really narrow that focus down. And one simple thing that you can do, if you're in business, you most likely have an email list. And if you don't, you need to start one ASAP. Email still provides the fastest, highest return on ROI there is, up to 4,000%. SEO, $22 per $1 investment, around 2,200% ROI. Social media, $2.80 per $1 investment, around 280% ROI. What we've done in the past 2 years in my business is we've really realigned things to say, okay, we're going to focus just on the top two. I produce one video per week. That's it. If you've seen any of my other socials, you've seen that I've largely been inactive because I've been focusing on the channels that generate the highest return on investment. And at the very start of last year, we uploaded an Excel spreadsheet of all of the email campaigns that I'd been sending. The only data that we provided to AI was the time the email was sent, the day, the subject line, how much was made on that particular day, and the number of leads on our database. I uploaded it, gave it this prompt, and then it analyzed the data to identify the trends within the data over the course of a few months. It tripled my income within just a couple of weeks because we were no longer focusing on what didn't work or what we thought might work. We were focused only on what was working with our email list. And we do this to identify what is it about the subject lines that gets those higher open rates, that gets those clicks over to the website. Because if you optimize your open rates, increase it just by 1%, then you can start to optimize what's actually in the body of the email itself to start increase those 1%. So 1% on a landing page increase, 1% on an order form, 1% on an email subject line, 1% on the contents of an email. Those results are going to start to compound incredibly quickly. Take a screenshot of this prompt. I do recommend ChatGPT. We've seen the best results with ChatGPT for this particular campaign. If you're not sending out bulk emails, I recommend uploading the conversations that you've had with your clients to AI. Make sure the security settings, make sure there is, that there's no valuable information that has been shared that you don't want shared, to have it analyze to see where are your greatest opportunities right now and where are you falling flat. This is a phenomenal opportunity for each and every one of us to do. The second way to optimize is that missed comments and missed DMs equal missed cash. OpenAI released an AI agent, I believe it's about a month and a half ago now. When you go to OpenAI and go to the chat window in the drop-down menu, it actually now gives you AI agent mode. When you select that, you can give it a prompt to search your Instagram and your social media to find any DMs or any comments that you've missed where you've failed to engage with your audience. These are missed opportunities. And it's quite fascinating, scary at the same time to watch. But what it will do is you'll see a browser pop up. It's going to navigate to your Instagram account, and it's going to tell you what it's doing each step of the way. So you can see in this screenshot, it says open each post, check the comments, and draft personalized responses when necessary. So this is the prompt that you need to apply this. It's only going to draft those replies and then ask for your permission. You want to make sure you read the replies to make sure AI isn't hallucinating. For those of you that aren't aware of what an AI hallucination is, it's where AI combines fact with fiction, but it shares it with authority. We've seen attorneys enter court hearings providing case studies from the past to judges where the judges have called them out saying, this case actually never existed. There is no precedence here. It can be incredibly embarrassing not checking the production of what is coming out of artificial intelligence models. You must always check it and scan it. Which brings us to the third step. And I'm pretty sure you're relieved right now that you can download this file because of how much we're covering. And this is the phase where we reinvent and really start to prepare for the future. We want to turn those proven workflows into scalable assets. It could be templates, microservices, intellectual property. This is where your time becomes equity. To do that, we have to take one final step in the automation phase because we brought back hours, replace, and we squeeze more from what we have by optimization. Now we use those insights to redesign your business so it can't be replaced. To do that, I recommend taking a brand new step, which I haven't heard anyone speak about yet, which is you can't automate what you don't see. You can't automate what you don't see. If you're anything like me, you probably have 20 or 30 browsing tabs open at any one time throughout the course of your day. Atlas, which is by OpenAI, similar to a Google Chrome browser, you can now use it. And what I recommend, use it for at least a month. And then what you're going to do is you're going to give it a prompt after a month, which is an AI automation tracker. It reads, you are my AI workflow analyst inside OpenAI Atlas. Track all my browsing activity and identify recurring weekly tasks that I perform, then generate a weekly report that includes the top repeated tasks, what I do most often and how often, automation opportunities, recommend workflows, create a priority list, and estimate weekly hours saved each week for automation. You want to keep this language and the response from Atlas simple, clear, and actionable. And here with this specific prompt, help me automate 80% of my repetitive work and reclaim time for strategy and creativity. This is an absolute game changer for two reasons. This isn't just about alleviating more things off of your task list. It's also about looking at your own behavior. And that is where the biohacking part of me comes out, which is once you've asked AI to do this, ask AI to provide feedback on how you're performing as an entrepreneur, where you're failing, where you could improve. Give you feedback. Are you clicking the same tabs? Are you going to YouTube way too much? Are you spending too much time on social media and not generating a specific outcome? This is your personal assistant. It's your personal coach, if you allow it to be based on the settings. Once you have that data from Atlas, then it will give you a simple step-by-step plan to say, these are the tasks that you actually need to automate. To make it even easier, I do recommend Zapier. That's Zapier, Zapier. Go to Zapier. They already have inbuilt templates, but you may need to build your own based on the specific task that you have. You can create various automations that can run on a weekly basis to make sure that you're getting the data and insights you need to make those 1% incremental changes. This is an absolute game changer for each of you that apply it. Now, here's where we need to start thinking about the future. The goal is that you want to use the data that you've already connected. Your emails, calendars, notes, sales, site, social, to find leaks and to find offers that AI can't copy. Pull that data from the last 90 days, your top emails, proposals, DM threads, cancellations, meeting notes. Feed it into artificial intelligence and ask it to find the leaks in your sales process. Create brand new work maps and also ask it to create an AI risk map. Because as you've just seen, with an AI agent, the amount of new work that you can get done on behalf of your clients, you must consider that your clients may start using those AI agents directly themselves. Now, I know that that's a scary thing to consider, but would have to be absolutely ignorant to think that we're over here working to use artificial intelligence to save money, to think that they're not going to do the exact same thing. That's why we upload all of those objections to find the unique angles and to also identify the trends. Are sales increasing or are sales declining? What are external factors that are actually contributing to that? Is there a way that you could introduce artificial intelligence within those interactions with your customers to make it easier for them? But the ultimate goal here is to decide whether to stop or to continue certain activities, automate or keep them, with the ultimate goal to reinvent your offers and to reinvent the products and services that you offer in the marketplace. And as an author, my greatest fear is becoming irrelevant. And that's what I discovered when I was writing The Wolf is at the Door, is that I came face to face with that question is, what is my purpose if AI can do it faster and cheaper than I can? And that's very much a journey each and every single one of us are going to go on in the next few years. And I encourage you to start that journey as soon as possible, because you have a choice here that will decide your future. Will you be a rookie that chooses to ignore the clients can now clone your services, depending on what they are, of course? Will you be a rookie that dilutes their competitive edge? Have tons of content, pumping out loads of content without a strategy to underpin it? Are you going to keep researching different AI tools every single day? Dial it back to the things that matter most in your business, your data, the profit levers, and what the future actually looks like. And this is where intuition comes into the game. You want to spot those early signs of disruption in your industry. I encourage you to use OpenAI's Atlas and simply ask it, what are the trends that are currently happening in my industry that only the top 1% of experts in my field are aware of? That's going to give you insight that's going to set you up for success in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. And if you want to lay this out in a simple week-by-week plan, week 1, focus on replace. Week 2, begin your optimizations. Week 3, reinvent. And that's where you do the data review initially. Week 4, then you begin to reinvent those offers that you actually have. I hope this has been useful. And of course, we have the free resources. There is a free AI success kit that you guys can download to help. I know there was a lot of information in this presentation, Lisa.
There was. I think the number one question, Ben, is everyone's asking for the slides. So
yes.
If you go to the Expo tab, you'll see a tile there called Resource Room. Give us a little time to get it uploaded, but we'll put it there. I'll also ask our team if we can put it in a blog at lettuce.co, so you guys can find it later as well. The other question, Ben, that I saw a few times was, what if you don't have access to Atlas? Is there another tool?
Oh, it's only come out a couple of weeks ago. I just got access, so I'm not sure. Let me think. You could try Perplexity, but it's not necessarily a full AI agent yet, I believe. But you could go into ChatGPT. I believe on the $20 subscription, there is AI agent mode, which will effectively give you the same thing.
Great. I don't see any other live questions in our chat, and I know we're a few minutes over, so I can tap dance for 1 second in case anyone wants to add something. But I will tell you that I'm seeing things like this was insightful, valuable. Thank you. So a thank you from the chat group and a thank you from us at Lettuce, Ben. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I did see a couple popping up around privacy concerns.
Good one.
Now, that is a deep dive that I cover in my book, and it will probably make your head explode around the concerns on privacy, cloning. I recommend reading the book for that certain part, because there is a concern around how much of our own proprietary information we share with artificial intelligence that someone could inadvertently reproduce through a prompt. We actually saw that with Amazon happen within the first 3 months of ChatGPT being launched. But it is within the security settings that you want to go for any of these AI tools to see what options they actually have available to you.
Great. For the link on the screen, go to handouts, then click to offers, and you can find the offer from Ben there, as well as I do know in the resource room that offer is already loaded. It links to that free chapter and download. So thank you again, Ben. I hope to see the rest of you in some other sessions later today.
Great.
Have a good Solo Summit.
It's my pleasure, and good luck, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.